What it do, cons? It's your boy Confusion. Back again. And you ever play darts? Have you ever played darts before? I know it sounds like a crazy question to pop off with, but if you've ever played darts, you're not aiming for out here normally. You want that bullseye. And man, do I ever feel like we are right on target. What am I talking about, huh? Sometimes I miss things and wisdom has to slap me upside the head and say, look here, fool, look here. How'd you miss this? And so, what I mean is, when we take a look at this United Nations logo, I missed it. I missed it. Do you notice what I'm talking about? Do you see why I'm talking dartboard? Do you see why I'm talking right on target? Right on target. Bullseye. Body bag. Dead center. Magnetic north. The Rupus Negra. And they're gonna hide the bullseye. The WHO, the World Health Organization logo, is gonna hide that bullseye. But I know where it's at now. Right there. And again, as I said before, they say that all roads lead to Rome. I say that all roads lead back to this priest con right here. El Preste Juan, the Grand Khan. And so I hear the Drop Nation's looking for a translator. Well, Babel no more, cons. Babylon no more. We're breaking the barriers of confusion and the barriers of that Babel. So let's just get it real quick here. We're in the Urbano Monte Map, 1587, from the David Rumsey collection. Links will be down in the description. Get the links, con. Get the links. And so, just to show you where we're at here real quick. And again, I didn't see it before, but I see it now. Do you see the target? Do you see that this is a target right here? You see the circle? You see the lines coming in on all the sides, just like a dartboard, con, just like a dartboard. And what is right there? What's the bullseye? G. Don't get it twisted though. That G is Jerusalem, Yasharella. We're talking Jerusalem, con, Jerusalem. The true Jerusalem, not the one over there in the so-called Middle East. All right. Let's just get this real quick. So, again, Arzaret. And then you have Dov Sono Dice Tribu de Israel. And that is where the 10 tribes of Israel were relocated. Is that they say. The 10 tribes of Israel, as it translates. So, Again, anytime you're talking Israel, you're talking Prester John, and anytime you're talking Prester John, you're talking alicorno, or the unicorn, or the unicorn. Mongi Tartary, Aragon. You also have Neftali Tartary. You have Arnagog. Gog. So again, everywhere these tribes are, everywhere these Hebrew Israelites are, right there, you've always got Gog, Magog, Babylon, the Canaanites, all right there. And again, we're right here in North America, right here. And I want to get into the Strait of Anion later, but again, I heard the Drop Nation needed a translator, so I'm going to start to translate some of this. Not that I'm the translator here, but we're going to get some of this translated, and I've just got a little start on it here. And I've been wanting to translate this for so long, but again, cons, Babel no more. Babel no more. All right, cons. We're looking at the Prester, El Preste Juan. All right, here we go. The banner reads, Il Gran Prete Yani, Re della Grande Ethiopia. And this translates to the Great Prester John, King of Great Ethiopia. So again, it's a vague term, Ethiopia. Ethiopia meaning Ethiop, meaning burnt face or dark skinned. Once again, let's go to etymology. To burn, face, fiery looking, later sunburned. So we're not necessarily talking a place, but a place of peoples, and it's a vague term. There were three Ethiopias, and right here it says the Great Prester John, King of Great Ethiopia. All right. And when you're talking, and when you're talking Ethiopia, Greek Ethiopia, Ethiops, Ethiop. We just looked at Ethiop, burnt face, dark skin, sunburnt. Copper collared cons, copper collared cons. The native name is represented by Abyssinia. So the old name for Ethiopia was Abyssinia, old name for Ethiopia, 1630s. And we've gone through this before, but again, popular slang pun for partial salutation, I'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you. Bullseye. Alright, con. So, going down here to this banner down here below it. The Italian for it is Il Negro Re de Ethiopia con tanta. We're not going to do all that. I can't even read half of that. I'm not even going to pretend that I can. Okay, so as it translates, the black king of Ethiopia, with such power, gave his treasure He has much renown throughout the world with people in his faith. But those Christians who are partly under the king of the great homeland are under his rule, and they're Christians, but by water and baptism are Christians. So the black king of Ethiopia, with such power, gave his treasure, gave it away. He has much renown throughout the world with people in his faith. But those Christians who are partly under the king of the great homeland are under his rule, and they're Christians, but by water and baptism are Christians. Somebody help me out with that last part. Somebody say, confusion, you're confused. This is what it means. Because that last are under his rule, and they're Christians, but by water and baptism are Christians. I don't quite grasp that. Wisdom's gonna have to slap me upside the head later and say, hey dummy, it means this. So that's something I'm gonna have to meditate on, unless somebody wants to give me the cheat sheet and tell me what's going on here. All right. So let's continue here. We're gonna go ahead and start heading to the left here of El Prestewan, and then we get to this guy right here. And okay, and so he's wearing the Babel tiara, which is something that I had looked at because of a clock that my family is in possession of and has been for some time. Depicts some, it has some symbols on it that would be like on his crown there, and I was confused. I'd never seen it. I didn't know what it was. It almost looked like Christmas ornaments in a way, and then when I looked into it, it had come back as the Babel tiara, P-A-P-A-L tiara. Okay, and so this says, De Christianu Somo Pontifex Optimo Maximo, and that translates as, about the Christian Supreme Pontiff, the greatest and best. And then underneath that, I'm not even going to attempt to read that, but we're going to zoom in here. And here we go. That translates as, after the many great persecutions that the Church of Christ has endured, it was fitting that his holy shepherd was given to us by celestial gift, because through his prayers and orations, the entire elected baptized people, fortified by his merits, should swiftly venerate the holy and blessed shepherd. I'm going to go ahead and say dodge the hijack. I was really hoping that this map was completely pre-hijacked, but as I started to get into translating it, I had realized that they had already switched over to the heliocentric model, all sorts of things. So I had already known that we're a little late to the hijacking here, but there's a lot of babies in the bathwater, a lot of truths that had not been taken out yet. So let's continue here. Again, a bunch of high strangeness, high strangeness. And I'll be working all week, Drop Nation, to get this entire thing translated and then some. I've got some things that I personally need translated as well that I've got a little bit of time, which is unusual. So we're going to spin this, hopefully most of it, in the most productive and best way possible. All praise to the Creator. All glory, all honor to the Most High. Ho-wah! All right. Let's continue here. As you see, Il Re de Polonia, Poland. It translates to, as you obviously can guess here, the King of Poland. I told you last time that's an ugly mug, and forgive me for that, my brother. But You look beat up a little bit. And then here we go. Let's I'll zoom in here. So not to babble no more. It doesn't matter, cons. We got this. We got this. No more barriers. No more hidden information. We're just gonna tear the wall down. Find the truth. Here we go. This is the graceful and magnanimous man of Great Poland, whose waves of virtue are as powerful as the sea of waters, and whose homeland is full of so many warriors and people who are ready to pay honor to those who are worthy, and death to those who adore it. So people loved him, and if you didn't fuck with him, then he was coming for you. Sounds about right. Let's continue. For sake of time, for the video and myself here, I've got these leaders done. I've got to go in here and try to get all this, but as you see, like, stuff's crossed out, chunks of it are missing. So we're gonna see what we can do here, and we're gonna do the best that we can. And like I said before, what's better than one head in on this? Two. What's better than two? Three. So the more eyes, the more cons investigating the cons, the better. But the one thing that we must remember at all times is to keep the code. All right. Il Re de Portogallo, the King of Portugal. And then let's zoom in here to the scroll. And here we go. Here's the translation on this. His fame continued in the immense ocean, breathing the flight, the mind, reasoning about his intense honor, considering his even more beautiful land. For him, bonds in a long dense course. For him, in the sea, runs the beautiful desire alone, that in my sky brings the proud acquisition, whereby looking I procure the acquisition. That last part was deep, and I'm going to read it one more time, that last part of it, just as it's so deep that it's going to take some meditation on that. It's going to take some meditating on that to try to grasp that one. For him, bonds in a long dense course, for him in the sea runs the beautiful desire alone, that in my sky brings the proud acquisition, whereby looking I procure the acquisition. Okay, so by looking he procures it, he obtains it. So again, cons, what we've been talking about is the fact that what do we want to collapse the wave function on? Chaos, where everything's happening all at the same time? Or do we want to collapse this wave function on peace and shalom? Paradise. And so I think that that's what it's saying, is that you manifest. But I could be wrong. I'll have to think on that. And if you know what it's talking about, hit me with the knowledge. Drop the knowledge down in the comments, son. Drop the knowledge. Centurion. You know, and that would be Romanesque, or what the mainstream his story has us believe would be Roman. But I would say that would be more Holy Roman, and I don't know how holy that Roman Empire really is. I'll be looking at doing all these translations next in these cons. And if there's anything that you guys need translated, we'll get working on that too, see what we can uncover. The big homie, Montezuma. Hoa, hoa, hoa. Okay. Just 1 second here. Okay, here we go. It says, Montezuma, who was king of Mexico and the West Indies. Hoa, hoa, hoa. What is considered the West Indies? You know, let's just continue, and for time's sake on this, I don't need this to be a 7-hour video. I'm gonna pop off with a bunch, so stay tuned. 'Cause I'm coming with that fire, and I'm coming with that heat, I promise you. Most High blessed me with wisdom, and that wisdom needs to be shared and given freely. So it's time to wake up. It's time to code up. It's time to tribe up. It's time to vibe up. Con up, cons. It's time to con up. Alright. The big homie Montezuma, who was king of Mexico and the West Indies. And the West Indies. Again, the 3 Indies, con. The 3 Indies. Okay, here on the lower scroll, it translates, of the West Indies and Mexico, Montezuma was king and emperor over every nation when Hernan Cortez brought Roman eagles there. I'm going to read that one more time. Of the West Indies and Mexico, Montezuma was king and emperor over every nation when Hernan Cortez brought Roman eagles there. All right, let's continue here. Got this guy right here. Get a drink of agua. Let me take a sip of agua real quick. Oh, wow. All right, Il Rey de Spagna et de le Indi, the king of Spain and the Indies, it says. Then we're gonna zoom in here on the lower scroll. He dominates the east and the west, this one who is called Kabbalah. He is obedient to the Holy Church, full of wisdom, healthy, and perfect. He draws the lost people to holy Jesus, dodge the hijack, who were prey to the cursed enemy. And while he seeks the salvation of other souls, he gains glory and virtue from God. Dodge the hijack. Let's continue. High strangeness. All right. L'Imperator de Turquie. Obviously, that translates as the Emperor of the Turks, or the Emperor of Turkey. Okay, so the lower scroll here. And it translates, if this converts to true judgment and cares for the faith of Christ, no other thought could be forgotten. So magnanimous is his nature to do, that he is not at such service, and it is not known which is greater, whether to a king or to a shepherd. Equal matches his thought, error is so much greater. So I don't know if you cons see this, but the way that they wrote, the way that they spoke, full of wisdom. I'm having trouble grasping at some of these things, and it could just be the translation as well. But I'm gonna read that one more time, because even for myself, I was having trouble grasping that. Okay. If this converts to true judgment and cares for the faith of Christ, no other thought could be forgotten. So magnanimous is his nature to do, that he is not at such service, and it is not known which is greater, whether to a king or to a shepherd. Equal matches his thought, error is so much greater. So it just seems full of wisdom. Now, whether it's full of hijack and wisdom, it would be my that would be my humble opinion on it. But full of wisdom nonetheless. All right. Romano Imperator. Roman Emperor. Obviously that translates to. I'll zoom in on here on the scroll below him. And it translates. Of the sacred Holy Roman Empire, he holds the scepter to the crown. Okay, let me reread that here. Of the sacred Holy Roman Empire, he holds the scepter, the crown, and the mantle. He is revered by the Christian people, and to him, humanity gives the realms honor. For his long and wise hand governs them from you. Eternal, our sign so high, that through his virtue we are safe from urgent and future dangers. Hijack, hijack, hijack. But fascinating nonetheless. I'll be getting all this translated as well. I did get some things translated here though. A few things that I was kind of interested in. I'm interested in the whole map and then some. There's so many little hidden gems on this map. I told you that they like to hide things off in these images and stuff on these maps for those with eyes to see and for those with ears to hear. All right. And this translates to the solar eclipse. Solar eclipse. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon interposes itself between the sun and the earth, and it obscures the sun's rays insofar as its lunar body covers them, preventing them from shining upon the earth. Okay. Okay, and so this is the heliocentric model of the solar system, and it positions the sun at the center with the planets orbiting around it. Okay, and then it says Cilio de Okay, yeah, right here. Let me flip this here. So this right here says Cielo de Sole che circonda la Terra 166 volte. And that translates as the sky of the sun that circles the earth 166 times. I'm gonna have to really, really dig in on this stuff and just get it all translated. I need to get this translated still. I've got to get all this stuff translated, cons. And then one other thing that I kind of missed at first, but I was wondering whenever I saw this, I was like, what is this? What is this like image here? And then it also hit me once I realized that we're looking at a dartboard, essentially. Is that this image right here, this thing with the red circle and then these spikes coming out, it's the Northern Star. It's the North Star. Sitting directly above Jerusalem. And again, all things emanate out from that point, or yes, everything emanates out from that point. And I even showed you on Google Earth that they can't even hide it. Everything emanates from that point outward. All right, cons. That's all I've got for this one. I'll be back with many, many more. Trust me. We're gonna get this stuff translated. We're gonna get the drop on it. And again, like I said in the last one, that Admiral Byrd talked about it being crowded up here around the North Pole. And he also talked about more land being south of the South Pole. And so you're talking gateways, you're talking right on out, past the ice wall. The ice wall that they knew about. It was common knowledge. It was common knowledge, and I'll prove it to you. I've got a lot of stuff to show you as well. Stuff that shouldn't be there. Things flying in the sky when things shouldn't be flying in the sky. That were historical, that can't be denied. I've got a lot coming at you, cons. Stay tuned. Tribe up. Vibe up. Most importantly, code up. Keep the code. Keep Most High over everything. Keep your breast secure. And just switch that frequency from that 440 into that 432. From that state of chaos, from that state of confusion, to a state of confusion. To a state of the fusing of the cons. A blending of the mixed multitude. Two cross sticks coming back together. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Ho-wah!